Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Radcliffe.
What a pleasure to see her again. DeLoy, and we're not going to mention her last name because we just don't want to, right, DeLoy?
Right. It's that bad.
I love that picture behind you before we get into business, as they say in the South. That is that's a cool picture. Was that a pencil drawing or what is that on the back there?
That is a gift that I received from my language helper when I left the field a couple of years ago, and that she drew that and painted that from a picture we took at a wedding in the country where I was serving.
That's awesome.
She's talented. Look at that. I mean, yeah. I thought it was an actual photograph at first, but wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's a precious gift from a dear friend.
Yeah.
Now, DeLoy is a mutual friend of Tracy and Jay Arnson, and I think DeLoy was on a couple of years ago, maybe a little less. She is a part of the Africa Inland Mission, and she's on the south side today. We're going to kind of catch up with her to see what's going on. Remind me, what kind of trouble did you get into to meet Tracy Arnson? What
was it in jail? I mean,
yeah, that was it. We were joining cells. No, actually, our children were friends in high school, Jared and Taylor. So we met in a store in Cobb County when our kids started chatting, and I was asking Jared about one of his mission trips to Cambodia, and Tracy's like, "Who is this lady that knows you?"
That's funny. You know, I guess you know already, since you know them well, they are recent empty nesters.
Yes. That is hard. Being an empty nester is difficult, I found. That adjustment is a big one.
Yeah, you have children as well, so I would imagine now we have three. One's been out for some time. He's 31, and frankly, we're trying to get rid of the last one. So I'm just kidding. I'm
sure you are.
Anyway, enough about me. Catch us up a bit. You were on the field for some time, ministering to so many people. You have quite a story. But we want to catch up with you, and you mentioned that the Africa Inland Mission celebrating how many years now? 100?
125.
Wow,
man!
How cool is that? How did you get involved with those guys?
Well, I knew about Africa Inland Mission as a young adult. One of my roommates had served with them. And then later in life, when I became an empty nester and I started reconsidering my career options and that kind of thing, I had always wanted to go on mission, but life just didn't allow. And I started reinvestigating, and then I found out that the U.S. mobilizing office for Africa Inland Mission is in Peachtree City. And so I started applying with them and working with them, and I really align well with their core values, and went through the process, and lo and behold, I ended up in the field in North Africa.
That is so cool.
Now, you were in country for a while. What, 2 years, 4 years? How long were you there?
I was there for a couple of years, and I'm still with the agency, obviously, but I'm just serving in a different capacity for a 4-year term. And so I am mobilizing and recruiting and training short-term missionaries for Africa Inland Mission. And for us, that's people that want to go a month to a year. Sometimes that's college students that are in cross-cultural studies that need an internship and just kind of want more exposure to what it really means to be on the field. And then I have retirees that are my age that are going over and just kind of doing a second season of life. And mostly people are trying to confirm a call to mission or a people group or a type of ministry.
Now, how has COVID affected all of that? Obviously, you're probably not able to travel as much and do as much. How has that affected everything for you guys?
Well, that was really heartbreaking. We had about 55 people scheduled to go over the summer to several different nations in several different capacities. And of course, they were unable to go. We had to pull people out before borders closed. We were getting people out a day, 24 hours, 5 hours, before the borders closed.
Wow.
So we were getting, kids out as fast as we could from Uganda to Madagascar, And so we have some people that were scheduled for year-long terms. that are just kind of waiting. They're fully funded. They're just doing part-time jobs or keeping their jobs. Even for full-term missionaries, we have a lot of people in the pipeline that are backed up waiting for borders to open. So Kenya and Tanzania have recently opened, and they're taking U.S. citizens. We have Tunisia's open but won't take U.S. citizens. So it was heartbreaking, but many of them just want to try again in 2021. Yeah. So we're going to keep some of our teams full and try again. But it's difficult. Yeah. Expectations, and for those that were doing it for college internships, they're kind of having to redo. So,
it's interesting during this whole thing. Obviously, Dan and I have been able to do what we do at home. And I spent a lot of money on my material, my machinery back here.
Hey, I spent a lot of money on mine too, okay?
Dan, not so much. But, when everything kind of shut down, churches made a pivot, which is the word to say now, to digital. But I would assume there's not a lot of digital going on in some of the places in Africa. How have you guys adjusted for the future? This is what a learning experience, this thing, right?
It has been. We've tried to think of different delivery methods and that kind of thing. We're looking at a virtual short-term mission where people can connect with missionaries on the field through, Zoom and do that kind of thing. And but it's really hard when it's a cross-cultural deal. What we've been doing for our shift is we do diaspora work, and that's unreached people groups that are now living in the U.S. or in Europe. Usually it's refugees or migrants. There's over 350 unreached people groups in the United States that are immigrants. And so we have a diaspora region where we work with those people in the United States and in Europe, Spain, France. So we kind of tried to shift some people to those locations. That's still consistent with our mission of reaching unreached people groups, just in a different way. We had people that were trapped on the field that were supposed to come home for home assignment or different things and couldn't get out. Some of them tried expatriation flights or that kind of thing, trying to hop on. So it's been unique. But like I said, some countries are starting to open up now, and we're hopeful that by January, most of the continent of Africa will be open.
Now, you're home, you said, for like a 4-year assignment. Do you hope to go back after that, or what are your plans? Or do you know? Or are you waiting to see what God says your plans are?
He's going to the beach, Dan. The beach.
Come on, the water's fine.
Yeah. Well, that last thing, I'm just really waiting on the Lord, and being very prayerful about that. I was going to go back in April for a while with a vision trip to the country where I served and take other people who are interested in serving there to help them really get an idea what it's like to serve there. And of course, that was in April, and so that didn't happen. So I'm still kind of praying about that. I'm still in contact with people, the nationals that I met, and sometimes it's hard to be here, and sometimes it was hard to be there, but that's the nature of cross-cultural work. Yeah, so we'll see what the Lord does. I'm certainly open to it. So we'll see. But I'm really enjoying what I'm doing here. Matt Ellison with 1516 Ministries once said something on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. He said, you can be one missionary on the field, or you can send 100. And I hadn't really thought of that aspect of it before. So there is obviously value in mobilizing and sending and training, and getting people going. We'll see what the Lord does. Yeah.
It's discipleship, isn't it? 101 right there.
It is.
As you said, those folks out. DeLoy L there with us, and we're so glad to talk to her. Africa Inland Mission. She is part of that. She was a field missionary for a long, long time. What would you like folks that probably never will go somewhere and be a missionary temporarily, long-term, whatever? What would you like the average person, the average Christian to know, maybe that they don't know?
All right. That's a good question, and I'm actually prepared for that question. 95% of the unreached people groups are in the 1040 window, which is North Africa, South Asia. But only 1% of mission resources goes to serve that area, and only 3% of the world's mission force. So we're sending the least amount of mission resources to the place where the most amount of unreached people are. We still send most of our resources to places that already have churches and scriptures in their language and that kind of thing. So I would encourage people to get involved in praying for unreached people groups. You can go to the Joshua Project online that lists them all out, and facts and details about those countries, and support mission organizations and missionaries that go to unreached people groups, and learn about them, find out about that. It's, what's left now, the low-hanging fruit's been gone for a couple of centuries here. We're to the hard places now. But there's so much joy and satisfaction in that, and serving in that way. But I would just challenge people to get involved in building the kingdom in unreached.
That is so good. How can they follow the Africa Inland Mission?
Well, we do have a website. It's AIMINT, AIMINT.org, US. /US. Okay. We're mobilizing offices all over the world, so we want to get the US mobilization page.
DeLoy, DeLoy, we'd like to catch up with you later on. You're going to be here for a while, I guess 4 years, and then we'll see where the whirlwind will take you, like Elijah.
Yeah.
As you have many, many times. Thank you for your obedience, your huge heart, and your humility. You're very, very humble, but you're also very powerful because of what God's done in your life and doing through your life. Again, check out the ministry that you just talked about, Africa Inland Mission. We'll be back. We got to take a break. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.